Good morning. My name is Maria Laura Fornachi, and I am the Executive Director of the Triple Helix Association. First of all, I would like to thank you very much, NSDF and Mrs. Jansie Niehaus, for inviting the Triple Helix to present to your conference. I'm very proud of this initial cooperation, and I hope we could further develop this collaboration in the future. Okay, let me start presenting a little bit the Triple Helix Association, who we are, and what our local chapters have about. Okay, the Triple Helix Association is a non-for-profit network organization based in Italy with a scientific purpose and an international outreach. It is open to innovation actors from academy, industry, government, both as individual and organizations. It was initiated by Professor Harry Escovitz and Professor Lud Leidersdorf, the Triple Helix model theorists, as informal movement of international scholars sharing common research interests, convene every 2 years to discuss the latest research findings on university industry government relations. During the Triple Helix International Conference, hosted by different universities each year across Europe, US, and Latin America. The success and growing interest around the conference motivated Escovitz and Leidersdorf to establish in 2009 the THA as a legal entity, a non-for-profit association under the Italian law with the main purpose to promote and disseminate the Triple Helix study via the regular organization of the Triple Helix Conference series and the funding of a scientific open access journal to publish the research produced by its informal movement. From that time on, the association has grown and further developed its mission and outreach. Although we are still a small association with a long way forward, the past years were very productive and led us to create a wider formal membership base and a more vivid Triple Helix community, which gave us insight and practical support for sharpening our vision and mission and for extending accordingly our portfolio of members' engagement opportunities. So, what's the THA reason why today? The Triple Helix is a well-accepted innovation model largely used in Europe and other developed countries. Whilst we are recently used to hear about the quadruple helix, I would like to clarify this is not a new or a different model, but simply the extension of the model to the civil society as fourth helix, which, according to Escovitz, was already originally included as underpinning layer in the Triple Helix model. So I will continue using Triple Helix, assuming we are considering quadruple helix as the same model. So the heart of the Triple Helix thesis is an expansion of the role of knowledge in society and the university in the economy. In fact, in a knowledge society, innovation is increasingly based on a triple helix of university, industry, government interactions, with a preeminent role of entrepreneurial university as knowledge generators and enabling actors. Any innovation ecosystem needs an entrepreneurial university at its core, whilst the government and political programs can incentivize the emergence of innovation intermediaries working as interface among the Triple Helix actors for supporting the transfer and exploitation of such knowledge in different ways, including entrepreneurship, spin-off, and technology transfer. The Triple Helix intends to offer a model for making innovation happen by properly engaging the key local stakeholders into the knowledge, innovation, and consensus space of the Triple Helix, and linking knowledge, innovation, governance, and leadership. To learn more on the model, I invite you to check the slides and book proposed here in the bottom of this slide. Triple Helix entrepreneurial university innovation ecosystem are at the core of the THA agenda, and the international research on those fields is the THA main reason why, and the culmination of our action to keep connected our international community. Nonetheless, we learned that staying relevant for our different target groups, including the academics, we need to support also the practical use of the triple helix research. This to foster the emergence of more triple helix cases all over the world, which can feed new evidence-based research and allow our community to distill and share new scientific knowledge, best practices, and tools and policy advice for our multi-stakeholder audience. How do we do that? Our annual event remains an important moment for engaging with our community and opening our research agenda to new developments. The upcoming conference, hosted by Tampere University on 15-17 June 2020, will focus on the future innovation for future, and you all are invited to attend. In the past 3 years, we also initiated a new event, the Triple Helix Summit, for a more action and policy-oriented debate, where to showcase practical cases and facilitate the dialogue among the Triple Helix actors around a specific challenge. The upcoming summit will be hosted by Bologna University on 24-26 November 2020 on the theme Designing Global Connected Innovative Regions. The call for contribution will be out by the end of this month. To boost our capacity to distill actionable approaches and policy advices from our community's research, we are taking part together with our members to public funded projects. And we have launched a series of awards in connection with our main events to spot the excellence in research and best practice in triple helix operationalization. Whilst for connecting the innovation actors and implementing the model at local level, we encourage our organizational members to set up a triple helix chapter. Chapters are local focal points approved by the THA on the basis of formal application procedure, led by either an entrepreneurial university or a local triple helix-like association, committed to play a driving role in the development of their innovation ecosystem via the triple helix model. At the moment, we have 7 established chapters in Europe, Asia, and Latin America, and more hopefully to come. For enhancing the practical application of research funding, we also offer a set of capacity building activities ranging from workshops, webinars, and our newly established academy, specifically conceived to support our chapter's operation. Finally, we have 3 different publications, a scientific open access journal, a quarterly magazine, and a best practice case series for disseminating research and practical results for our different target groups. So, why a triple helix chapter in South Africa? South Africa is developing a national strategy for unleashing its innovation potential. As stated in the white paper on science, technology and innovation recently published by the Ministry of Science and Technology of South Africa, science, technology and innovation are primary drivers of economic growth, that national innovation policy are still fragmented and government, business and civil society are not sufficiently involved and connected. That's why the document make an explicit reference to our triple helix model of innovation, say that a quadruple helix model of innovation will be encouraged to facilitate interaction and partnership among business, government, including public research institutions, higher education institutions, and civil society, in order to drive innovation. So by setting up a South African triple helix chapter, you could give an official venue to host your local triple helix community under a well-reputed institution getting international exposure and national scientific recognition. You will also get access to our like-minded community of researchers and innovators all over the world and their latest studies cases on the triple helix for innovation models. You will also benefit of the international networking and cross-fertilization with our developing or developed innovation ecosystems via exchange of scholars, web events, and study visits. And last but not least, you could be assisted by our expert via our capacity building program addressed to the chapter staff and local triple helix actors to learn how to build together your local innovation ecosystem, making use of the triple helix model. So, We really believe we could partner with you in the future to grasp the opportunity offered by the upcoming innovation plan for South Africa. I thank you very much for your attention, and I, uh, I wish you a very fruitful meeting and discussion.
So I just want to emphasize a few things. The triple helix is now not only a model, but it is an academic discipline. So there are people who are studying the dynamics among triple helix players. And that means that it is in the social sciences sphere, but obviously they're not going to limit it to social science. So it's quite an interesting space. They don't prohibit anybody, but say physicists, you would not be excluded from studying the triple helix dynamics. But that's really what the association is about. And it's a way of linking, obviously, with international researchers on these matters. You were listening to Maria Laura Fornachi, and she is the executive director of the Triple Helix Association, based in Italy. So it is a non-profit, non-governmental organization, as is the NSTF, and it started with an informal movement. And there it is, to promote the study of the interactions among academia, industry, and government. And it started also with the Triple Open Access Journal. There still is a Triple Helix Journal, which you can read online. And there's the history, which we can skip over. Right. It aims to advance scientific knowledge and operational capacity to ignite and manage triple helix interactions, to foster research, innovation, entrepreneurship, and regional sustainable development. I think that in the case of South Africa, we would call it innovation studies. So I think that there are many people who are studying the science system or the national system of innovation who would also be regarded as triple helix researchers. Might not prefer to call themselves that. But later on, I want to hear your opinions of the triple helix model and whether it is a useful model in studying innovation. Right, there are of course, the Triple Helix Conference, the international conference, was held in South Africa this year. Right, on this slide, she got it a bit wrong with the details of South Africa's situation, but the important point is that the white paper was recently launched, and this is a totally new white paper on science, technology, and innovation, because the last one was 20 years or so ago. So that states very clearly that innovation is an absolute priority for government. And we will hear that more and more. And of course, the department has renamed itself as Department of Science and Innovation. Right, so part of the existence of a chapter, a role of a chapter would be to participate in a capacity building program to build together our local innovation ecosystem. And then the other focus is to look at specific regions, cities, one could read provinces. I don't know if provinces might be too big, but certainly special economic zones and industrial parks. As Bernd Uleman was saying, you actually need to get research involved in those economic zones because they have to be informed. Researchers have to play a role in them. Okay, now to form a triple helix chapter, they require an existing organization. such as NSTF. The role would be a local interface with the Triple Helix Association, a center of Triple Helix debate in South Africa, and developing local interactions with and among Triple Helix actors. There are currently chapters in 6 countries, Brazil, Russia, Kazakhstan, Germany, Greece, and South Asia. You can read all about them, of course, on the website, which is triplehelixassociation.org. And you'll see mention of our discussion forum here under News. The Triple Helix Association is for both individual and organizational members. The organizational members of the association, if you have a look at them, are many across the world, and they're not only in those countries where there are chapters. So it doesn't mean that we have to have a chapter if we want to be involved with the Triple Helix Association. Triple Helix doesn't exclude the additional helices adding to it, so quadruple, or what's 5 times? Or 5 times 5 times helix, you know. There can be as many as you wish, but it starts with triple helix. So the question is whether to establish a chapter, and effectively that would be like a community of practice of people who study innovation or the triple helix players, and that would be established as an official body. You know, you get various communities of practice. It would need a widespread consultation to involve as many players as possible. Now, a bit about NSTF. NSTF already exists to represent all stakeholders, and it includes researchers, industry, business, and government. So it already represents the triple helix, i.e. Science, engineering, technology, and innovation in various sectors. And NSTF includes civil society, making it a quadruple helix organization. Civil society, in our case, actually includes NGOs, professional associations, and business. Oh, yes, business is part of the triple helix. But we have more private sector organizations that belong to NSTF than public sector. Right, here are the membership sectors. So there you can see the representations. The science councils and statutory bodies is that light brown, slice there. The blue slice is higher education, so these are the universities that belong to NSTF. Here is civil society, in other words, various NGOs. Here's the business sector and SOEs. There is ProSet, which is the professional bodies, like institutes of engineering, organizations representing educators in STEM, and so on. That little slice over there is meant to represent government. Now, government is a huge player, so in one sense it kind of swamps the rest of the players. But we also interact with various government departments. However, it isn't more than 2 or 3 at a time. And there are particular departments that we have more interaction with than others, such as Department of Agriculture, what's it called now, Land Reform and Rural Development, something like that, Matala? Something like that. So we interact a lot with them. We interact a lot with DTI as well. But in other words, I've just put it as a rough estimate there, but it is regarded as part of membership as a whole. And so it, all of these show you that there is quadruple helix, a quadruple helix structure here. Right, Our vision is a transformed country, and there are various ways in which that is formulated and realized. What's important is that the profile of science professionals need to be representative of the population's profile. And you heard that from the DSI speaker as well this morning. We aren't there by a long way, not only in terms of gender, but in terms of race as well. There's been enormous progress, but the proportions are reflected roughly by the NSDF's awards winners. And there we are at about 40% black winners over the years. Now that is enormous progress, but it's not enough, obviously. So that is one of the things, is that if one can swell the ranks of the set professionals, science, engineering, and technology, it is part of transforming the country. And I think that that could be done through Triple Helix work. NSDF has a niche role. It has a coordinating and unifying role, makes it easier to get an overview and navigate the national system of innovation. It's a small, relatively small community, but it's very complex, and this community punches above its weight internationally. We are highly respected, and of course, many role players. NSDF activities are inclusive and collaborative, reflecting openness, independence, and collaborative energy. So really, NSDF is not a body that has been formed with one specific agenda or to promote specific people's agendas. We exist to be inclusive and to, yes, basically the NSDF is you. The NSDF is its members. It's a wide network. There's a variety of role players, not only in the membership sectors, but as individuals. And we have a database of about 10,000 people that we send our newsletter to every month. Right, so apologies for that plug of the NSDF, but I think it might help you to understand why we're interested in discussing this. Oops. The question is, firstly, do we need a chapter of the Triple Helix Association in South Africa? Would it benefit us? And that we can't get from the website, that we have to decide ourselves. And then the second question is, should NSDF play the role as an intermediary and use its platform and networks of contacts to establish a chapter and to coordinate the activities around the Triple Helix?